Today, this is a different game. And there's institutions that tell you, no, we don't want your documents. But
Yeah.
what you don't know is that after you sign,
Yeah.
you're signing something that they can request 4506,
Yeah.
which is they can request directly from the IRS your transcripts. Having that bank relationship is really
Yeah.
what's going to get you to the next level. And this is with any bank.
Yeah.
This is definitely a game changer.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Calvin Russell here. Super excited to bring you all yet another guest speaker. All right. So now this lady needs no introduction. She's most definitely been growing her YouTube channel, passing out so many gems about personal credit, mainly business credit, business funding, things of that sort. Listen, if you want to learn more about that topic, you most definitely want to get out your notepads right now. Okay. Now it took a lot to get on her schedule, but we made it happen for you all. But again, she doesn't have a lot of time today. So we most definitely want to get today's interview rolling. So Jackie, can you hear us okay?
Yes, and thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be on this platform with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you, honestly, for carving out your schedule and just making sure that we were able to, just actually do this today. So thanks again. All right. So let's go ahead and get right into the first question that I had for you today. And that's how you can actually double dip with American Express. So what's the strategy in order to make that happen?
So with American Express, a lot of people, they don't know that this is the only credit card that you can do this with.
Mm,
If you apply for an American Express on the personal side, normally every credit card after that is just a soft pull. But if
okay.
you apply through the business side and then you go personal, they're going to hard pull you again. So American Express is amazing credit card because you can have 5 credit cards with just one hard pull. And a lot of people don't know that game.
Okay. Got you. Got you. Okay. Now, of course, a lot of people that watch my channel, they like to learn about American Express and things of that sort. And so, again, you're saying that they can do that with just one inquiry. And so, is it best to do that at the same time, or like what's the time frame that they have to do that in?
So whenever you're going to apply for American Express, you want
Yeah.
to first check they have their pre-quad. You want to
Okay.
make sure to check if you get qualified because you don't want to get a hard inquiry and not get approved.
Okay.
That's the first thing you want to do. You can do this at any time, but I always tell everybody before you apply for any credit card, go and check your credit. You want to make sure you check your credit. You don't want to have any late payments. You don't want to have any high utilization at that point. You want to
Yeah.
make that your name across the board, name, address, and employment, everything matches up. That way, you're not going to get any hiccups and you're not going to go into a manual review. My first credit card with American Express was the Hilton's credit card on the personal side.
Okay.
And then after that, you cannot apply the same day, you would have to
Okay.
wait. But then after that, I applied 3 months after, and I got my first American Express on the business side, which
Okay.
is
Wow.
amazing. And then after that, I applied 2 months after, and I got my
Mm.
gold card on the American Express on the business side as well.
Okay, so here's something I'm truly excited to share with you guys today, and that's today's sponsor. Fairfigure is the fastest growing business credit builder out there. They've already helped over 35,000 small businesses build their credit, which is crazy. And what makes Fairfigure a great company is that it's designed specifically for businesses that are just starting out or struggling with traditional banks. It takes like no time to get started. All you have to do is enter in your business email here and then click get started, or you can click right up here at the top where it says sign up. Once you're approved, here's what your dashboard will look like with instant access to your business credit scores. Now, if you're familiar with nav.com, Fairfigure takes it a step further with tools like their budget advisor. Yes, nav.com does provide scores, but Fairfigure gives you the tools to actually improve them. It's all about action. If you want to start building your business credit today, just scan this QR code or click the link in the description below. Trust me, it's a game changer.
So that's
Wow.
something that, and I can keep racking up those American Express because you can have 5 regular American Express, but then you can have up to, I've heard people having up to like 14 charge cards
Yeah.
with American Express. So
Mm,
they're a great institution. And if you guys are into the travel hack, you guys are going to
yeah.
get amazing points. So that's another thing that, if you want to go with American Express because you like to travel, this is the card for
Yeah.
you.
Wow. Okay. I'm glad you broke that down too, because you pretty much took us through your American Express journey.
Yeah.
and how you were able to get those accounts. So, okay, that's very good to know for sure. But we're not done yet there, because not only did you build a relationship with American Express and you were able to get approved for those credit cards, but you was also able to do something else. You
Yep.
were able to get over $31,000, or you essentially know how to get over $30,000 with American Express with no docs. What's the strategy to make that happen?
So I'm going to tell you the strategy with that. First, you want to build the relationship. The first thing I did
Right.
was I had my card.
Yeah.
And then I linked up with American Express, my personal checking account.
Okay.
They went back 3 months and
Mm,
they never caught on it was not a business account, and it doesn't give you, you can, it just says link up your account, your
yeah.
checking account. I linked up my personal account. They gave me a loan for $31,000
Mm,
with just having 3 months of bank statements.
okay.
And they didn't do another hard inquiry. So that was
Mm.
amazing too.
Wow, got you. Okay. And they didn't do a hard inquiry. But you know what? You touched on something that was major. You said, hey, you know what? I built a relationship, with them. How important do you think that relationship is when you're trying to get funding?
Yeah, it's extremely important, especially now, 2024. The banks, the institution, the credit unions, they've been burned so much
Yeah.
that it's different. You could have gotten maybe a year ago a whole bunch of funding with different institutions, no bank statements or no W-2s or anything.
Wow.
But today, this is a different game. And there's institutions that tell you, no, we don't want your documents. But
Yeah.
what you don't know is that after you sign,
Yeah.
you're signing something that they can request a 4506,
Yeah.
which is they can request directly from the IRS your transcripts. So,
Mm,
having that bank relationship is really
yeah.
what's going to get you to the next level. And this is with any bank.
Yeah.
This is definitely a game changer. Is
Real quick, be sure to download our free ebook today. All you got to do is scan this QR code right here or click the link in the description below. Now back to the video.
I always say credit is not chess. Okay. It's
Mm,
not checkers. It's like chess. You have
that's
to
right.
study it. You got to
Yeah.
study the opponent, and you got to study what's your next move. And I always tell
Wow.
everybody, don't go out there and start applying for any credit cards. Ask yourself, what do I need this credit card for?
Yeah.
Do I need 12-month interest free? Do I need, do I want it for travel? Do I want it for
Yeah.
cash back? Do I want it because I need to transfer a high balance? And that's when you go in and you check what's out there and what works for you. That way
Yeah.
you're not going to get yourself into trouble, and you're not going to have 20 credit cards that really are not doing anything for you at that point.
Right. Absolutely. I love what you just said too, Jackie. It is chess. It's
Yeah,
not checkers.
that's
You
right.
got to know your opponent.
Gotta study. You got to study
That's
it.
right. Absolutely. And I think a lot of people do exactly what you just said. They
Yeah.
apply for all these credit cards, they see who's going to approve them, and they don't care. They're just looking for an approval. But the way you're doing it is much more strategic. It's like, okay, why am I doing this? What am I going to do if I do get this approval? And just having that strategy. I think that that's key because,
Yeah.
and you touched on something else too. I think because we give so much information out, we're giving this information out to the people that's actually going to do the right things with it, not just go get the funding, not pay the banks. You're going to make it more difficult for everybody else, you
Yep.
know?
Yep.
So,
And
yeah,
that's what's happening. I mean, I always tell everybody, I'm not the credit card patrol.
yeah,
And sometimes, unfortunately, we do get ourselves into trouble. We lose
yeah,
our jobs. We have somebody that's sick.
yeah,
But when I apply for a credit card, I always think of this. Is that credit card, when I apply for a credit card and I go out there to spend it, I always think, is that going to make me money? And yeah,
yeah,
I like to go out for a nice dinner, vacation, and all that. But I always think of credit. When you have credit in the United States, and we're very lucky that we have this,
we are.
you can have anything in the world.
Mm,
Unless you're a trust fund baby, you're
yeah,
not going to be able to buy yourself a house. You're not
right.
going to be able to buy yourself that car. You're not going to be able to travel. So we have to try not to ruin the credit,
Yeah,
because credit is a big part of our lives. And like I said, we can have anything that we want if we have good credit and
yeah,
we understand how it works and we're responsible.
yeah,
Because, not only it hurts us, but it hurts the economy, it hurts everybody in general, because that person might rack up their credit cards and not pay for it. But you know what? In
mhm,
6 months, a year, they might need a car, And yeah,
Hmm.
they'll probably get that loan, but they're going to get a loan for a car payment at 20 something versus 6.99 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So, it's like I said, we all can get into trouble once in a while. We all
Yeah.
have emergencies. It's normal. The inflation's really high right now, but
Yeah.
we got to be responsible with credit.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely correct. And you know what? You touched on something as well too. With where we live, and this is where a lot of people want to be. And that's not just because of, obviously it's just America in general, but because of that American credit system, that American banking system, you built that relationship and you most definitely could, accomplish whatever you're looking to accomplish, especially as a business owner, for sure. But that's not obviously the only bank. You know a lot about these banks. Let's take a step back real quick, Jackie. So how did you find yourself learning about all of these strategies and just learning the credit card game in general?
Yeah. So in 2008, when the market collapsed, I
Yeah.
got myself into debt and I didn't pay for my credit cards.
Yeah.
Thank God I never had to do a bankruptcy. But then I started building credit right away because that's what people don't understand.
Yeah.
Even if you have bad credit or you're in the middle of bankruptcy, you can start building your credit. There's ways
Yeah.
to do it. And that's the right way to do. So
Yeah.
what I did was I piggybacked off of my mom's credit cards and she was an authorized user. So I started building my credit and building my credit. I
Yeah.
established great personal credit, but I never knew anything about the funding on the business side.
Right.
And of
Yeah.
course, I discovered YouTube.
Right.
And definitely that was a game changer. And, I'm in a lot of different mentorships.
Yeah. Okay.
I have also created a lot of connections with the bank,
Yeah.
but in my personal job for 23 years, my
Yeah.
job is to get patients funded. So I'm in
Mm,
the funding game, but for medical reasons.
got
And
you.
sometimes people come in and they need a $70,000 job. And
Mm,
guess what? They don't have no credit.
right.
So
Yeah.
they get themselves in big trouble. Like I said, credit is not only for car, mortgages, your purse, dinner, traveling. A lot of
Yeah.
people need credit for medical reasons. And I work with different banks, institutions, and I understand when you're filling out an application, what are they looking at? And I look at the client's part, the patient's part. They come in, they're like, oh no, I have good credit. I just bought a car. Well, they
Yeah.
don't understand that if you don't pay the car, it will get repossessed.
That's right.
You don't pay your full mouth implants, the doctor cannot come and repossess your implants. So
Can't do it.
that's why you might not get approved for
Yeah.
that. So, like I said, credit, it goes a long way. A lot
Absolutely.
of people have to use it for medical reasons as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Listen, it most definitely makes sense. It
Yep.
most definitely makes sense. And so now, of course, you've learned about all of these banks, all of these strategies and things of that sort. But it's not just the big banks that you pay attention to. You obviously have studied credit unions as well. And you recently talked about a new PenFed hack. And
Yep.
this is to get a $50,000 credit card. How can you do that with PenFed?
Yeah. So PenFed is the underdog. Everybody
Okay.
says it's the underdog because,
Yeah.
of course, Navy Federal is up there.
Yeah.
PenFed does not have business credit cards or business lines of credit, but they're just as good.
Yeah.
Their APRs are very low and
Mm,
they are just like Navy Federal. They're out there to help the consumer.
yeah.
They're consumer based.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did with PenFed is I opened a credit card. The first credit card PenFed gave me, it was only 12,500.
Okay.
I thought it was on the low side, but what happened? I didn't build the relationship first.
Mm,
But then I started with PenFed. I started doing my direct deposit with PenFed. I started having everything in and out.
yeah.
After 6 months, I did get a credit line increase with PenFed on my credit
Wow.
card. And after 6 months, I went in and I applied for a personal loan. I
Yeah.
got $50,000 and no documentation. Why
Mm,
do you think that happened? They knew exactly what was coming in,
right.
didn't overdraft.
That's right.
I built direct deposit, so they knew that I was invested in them. I was doing
Yeah.
all my transactions with them. And
Okay.
anytime you're trying to go in for funding, personal business, you have to try to build the relationship with them. And
Yeah.
at least for that time, put all your ducks in there. So
Yeah.
they see that you're fundable because, you have to look fundable and you have to think to yourself, if you don't think that you're fundable, how can the bank think that you're fundable?
Yeah.
If you have a bank account and you are overdrafting every month, or you're not paying your credit cards on time, or you
Right.
have a high utilization that's all over, that gets you into trouble. And that's the main reason why a lot of people are not getting the money or the credit they need. It's because
That's
they're
right.
playing it right.
Yeah.
Another thing is, a lot of people think that when utilization is to be maxed out utilization, if you have $100 credit card, you have to use $100. That is incorrect. Whenever you use on your utilization more than 48%, you
Yeah.
get the maxed out penalty. And a lot of people
Mm.
don't understand that.
Wow.
Years ago, it used to be that if you had 30%, you were safe. Well,
Right.
let me tell you, if you guys want to get funding now and you want to get the best points with your own credit, you have
Right.
to always be under 8 or 9% utilization. And this
Correct.
is really important. That's going to help you get money without having to provide any documentations.
Wow. And okay, and you said 8 or 9%, which of course I've been seeing that trend grow. You like to see that rather than 0% fully paid off, preferably? You think the banks want to see?
Yes. Why? Because the banks have to see that you need the money. You got
Yeah.
to work it. So I always
Mm.
tell everybody, when you're ready to go in either to buy a mortgage or a car,
Yeah.
at least 3 to 6 months prior, or you want your credit line increase,
Yeah.
you got to use your credit cards. You got to
Yeah.
use them, pay them off, not by the due date, by the statement date.
Mhm.
But they have to see that you need that money. I see a lot of people with a $20,000 credit card, they never use it. And then 90 days after, they want the credit card to give them another $10,000. Well,
Mm.
the credit card's going to be, well, if they don't use the 30,000, why do they need 10 more? So, like I said, it's a game. You got to know
Yeah.
how to play it. You got to be responsible with it, but you also have to be creative with it if you
Yeah.
want to get to where you need. And,
Got you.
again, sky's the limit. Imagine getting $50,000 from PenFed. You're ready to open your business. It doesn't matter if you're an Uber driver, if you're a nail tech, if you're, whatever it is, you're able to inject that money and create your business. It might be right now from the personal, but once you create that business, then you might be able to create, business funding and then pay off that personal and just put everything on the business side, because that's
Yeah.
the correct way to do it. But it's just being, cautious, understanding how it is. And like I always said, you have to really understand the credit and how it works.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, you do. You do. You do have to understand the credit and how it works. And it seems like every bank is going to be a little bit different. Obviously, some banks seem to be a little bit more lenient on certain things, more than others. Okay, thank you so much, Jackie. We greatly appreciate you for stopping by the channel and just giving so many gems along the way. I do want to ask though, is there anything additional that you want to just leave with everyone before we get out of here today?
So something that a lot of people don't know, and I tell you because since I get patients approved,
Yeah.
is going to your credit, okay, and look at your name across all the three credit bureaus.
Mm.
Look at your address, look at your employer, and I'm going to tell you why this happens. A lot of times people get a manual review, and it's just because one letter is off in their name. If
Mm.
you go in there, you're going to see, I can guarantee you that everybody that goes in there is going to find at least one glitch.
Wow.
I went in and I had, like, my name was spelled so different ways. I even had a middle initial. I don't even have a middle initial. Remember that when you guys are applying for credit,
Yeah.
you guys maybe are buying a car or something like that. You're
Yeah.
not filling out your own application.
Right.
Somebody else is filling out your application.
Mhm.
That person can just press one something on the keyboard.
Yep.
That's going to register to the credit bureau. So
Yeah.
this is really important that you guys check, because this can help you not have any glitch when you guys are trying to apply for credit. And remember, anytime you get manual reviewed, they're probably going to ask you for more information than just if you do it online. So that's just
Wow.
something to think about.
Got it. So always go online, preferably, if you
Yeah. But
can.
always check. I would tell you everybody to check their credit,
Yeah.
how it comes out, the names, the address,
Yeah.
and the employers, and make sure that everything is across the board the same, reporting the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? That's such I won't say old school information, but that's like so no, seriously, it's so entry level, but people don't think about it because it's so entry level, like, oh, of course my name's right, of course my date of birth's right, of course, no, my job information is right. But no, that makes so much sense, especially when you're looking out for business funding, because it's those little things where it's like, okay, we need to verify this. And not only that, the banks want to make sure that they're avoiding fraud, so it makes sense. Wow.
Yep. Yep.
Again, thanks again, Jackie. We
Oh,
greatly
thank
appreciate you
you.
being here.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks again for being here again today. And again, listen, guys, if you all want to learn more about, of course, more about what Jackie was just talking about, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to her YouTube channel today. She talks about this stuff all the time. And again, if you guys want us to bring her back, let us know inside the comment section below. But thanks again, Jackie, for today. We greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video.